Okay, so let's talk about Mars. But I want you to forget what you think you know about that quiet red dot in the night sky. Today, we're going to look at it with a whole new perspective. We're treating Mars like a cosmic crime scene, and we are the detectives trying to solve the mystery of a world that vanished.
And this, right here, is the heart of the mystery. Almost 4 billion years ago, Mars could have been Earth's twin. Seriously, a vibrant blue world, covered in deep oceans, with a thick, protective atmosphere. Warm, wet, maybe even alive. But the Mars we see today, it's a barren, frozen desert. So the big question, the one we're here to solve, is simply, what happened? How does a living, breathing, Earth-like world just die? That's the puzzle we're trying to piece together. Let's follow the evidence and see how two planets, born from the same stardust, could end up on such completely different paths. Now, in any investigation, you need a prime suspect. And in this case, all the evidence points to one thing: the planet's size. You see, Mars is only about half the size of Earth. And you might be thinking, so what? Well, that one little difference set off a devastating chain reaction.
Okay, let's break down the forensics of this planetary crime scene. It all started deep inside, with the core. Because Mars is small, its molten iron core cooled down way faster than Earth's did. Now you can think of that spinning core as an engine, generating a protective magnetic shield around the planet. Well, as the core cooled, that engine sputtered out and died. The shield failed, and without that protection, Mars was left completely defenseless against a constant blast from the sun, a solar wind that literally scoured its atmosphere away into space. This analogy really says it all. Losing that atmosphere was like a soldier in the middle of a battle having their shield ripped away. Once that force field was gone, the planet was totally exposed. Any water on the surface either boiled away or froze solid. For any life that might have existed, it would have been an absolute apocalypse. But here's the thing. This isn't just some cold case from billions of years ago. For decades now, we've had our own investigators on the ground, combing the Martian landscape for clues. These are our robotic detectives, and they have completely rewritten the story of Mars. And this investigation didn't just start yesterday. You could say it began centuries ago, with Galileo getting his first fuzzy glimpse through a telescope. But the real game changers, well, those came when we put wheels on the ground. The landing of the Curiosity rover back in 2011, and then Perseverance in 2021, totally transformed everything we thought we knew. So let's open up the case file on our lead detective, Curiosity. I mean, the discoveries it made were just revolutionary. It didn't just find hints of water, it proved Mars had long-lasting lakes for millions of years. And, crucially, it found complex organic molecules, the actual building blocks of life as we know it. And then it sniffed out these mysterious repeating spikes of methane gas. Let's just zoom in on that last clue for a second. Methane, CH4. Curiosity confirmed that this gas kind of puffs out of the ground, but only during certain seasons. Now, why is that so exciting? Well, here on Earth, more than 90% of all methane comes from living things. So finding it on Mars is this tantalizing hint that something is active on the planet right now. It could be geology, or, just maybe, it could be biology. And this brings us to our newest detective on the scene, Perseverance. It landed in a spot that scientists are pretty much convinced was an ancient river delta. I mean, a perfect place to hunt for fossils. Its main job is to search for direct signs of ancient microbes. And, even more exciting, it's drilling and storing rock samples that a future mission is going to pick up and bring back to Earth. For the first time, we're planning to bring pieces of Mars back to our labs. So, all this evidence, all these clues gathered by our robotic investigators, it all leads to the ultimate question in this cosmic mystery. And really, it's a question that can only have one of three answers. When you get right down to it, it has to be one of these. Scenario 1, Mars had all the right ingredients, but the spark of life just never happened. A sterile world from start to finish. Scenario 2, life did get started, but it was wiped out during that massive climate catastrophe billions of years ago. Or Scenario 3, the most mind-blowing possibility of all. Life began, and it survived. It's still there today, hanging on in some hidden refuge. So if life is still there, where would it be hiding? The surface is a death trap, constantly bombarded with radiation. But scientists think life could be hanging on in a few places, maybe deep inside the polar ice caps, or even better, in pockets of super salty liquid water that might exist miles underground, kept warm by the planet's core and shielded from that harsh world above.
Okay, so we're spending billions of dollars and decades of our brightest minds' time to send robots to another planet to look for microbes. You might be asking yourself, why? Why does solving this puzzle matter so much?
Well, the reasons we search get at the most fundamental questions we can ask. First, if we find life on Mars, it helps us understand our own origins right here on Earth. Second, this is probably our best shot, right now, to answer that ancient, profound question, are we alone? And finally, by studying the autopsy of a dead planet, we learn really important lessons about how to protect the future of our own living one.
Our robot detectives are incredible, but they have limits. To really crack this case wide open, many believe we need human intuition. We need geologists and biologists on the ground. And that's the long-term goal of programs like NASA's Artemis. The plan is to get back to the moon first, set up shop there, and use it as a training ground for the ultimate journey, sending the first human investigators to Mars.
And let's be crystal clear about the stakes here. This isn't about finding little green men. The discovery of a single, fossilized microbe in a Martian rock would be the most profound, most important discovery in all of human history. It would tell us that the spark of life isn't some miracle unique to Earth. It would mean we live in a universe that is full of life. It would mean we're not alone.
Which leads us to one final, lingering question. As we study the ghost of this world that once had oceans and skies, are we just looking at a preview of our own planet's distant future? The story of Mars is not just about another planet. It's a cautionary tale. It's a mirror reflecting our own precious, fragile world. The investigation continues.